do you mean to do about that?
What should you do?
I have nothing to do about that.
How do you feel about Donald Trump shooting missiles at Venezuelan fishermen?
Love it.
Why do you love it?
Because he's bringing fentanyl and
on fishing boats. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought drug cartels use cargo ships and big tankers. Right. So you're telling me that the fentanyl opioid crisis of America is being done by Venezuelan fishermen on 8-man boats. You know why you love it? Because white people are sociopaths. You suffer from a condition called Freudenfrieder. It's an actual psychological condition. You know what it is? Is you get joy and pleasure from the pain and death of innocent people, man. Right. That's the sickness and the psychosis of white people, man. Right. The white man is a coward. That's right. The white man is a coward. Right. That's right. He doesn't want a real fight with actual terrorists. He wants to fight the innocent. He wants to fight the poor.
You know how ignorant you gotta be to put somebody in a tree and hang them because they're black?
They don't get put in a tree, okay? It's not a tree house. We're stringing you up because you killed someone. Capiche? Do you understand that? This guy is literally projecting the idea that white people today or back in the day just killed people for fun. For no reason, just racism. Now, it conveniently cuts out the logical, historical, commonsensical context of the situation, which is the black person did something incredibly fucked, incredibly evil, totally criminal. And so they had to be removed from society, and they will respect our authority. And we're not putting them in trees, we're hanging them from trees. And deservedly so.
You're not crazy. The world is.
Yo, so we back in here for another edition of F-ya-Motha, and this is a video about another ignorant ass. I don't know what the ethnicity of the person is, or I could surmise that the person is probably fucking clear. Talking about people who were actually hung because of heinous crimes that they did, so that gave white people in America carte blanche to just string people up from trees, and they didn't put them in trees, they strung them from trees. Tomato. What I will say is that's actually bullshit. Most lynchings in America were actually done without provocation, such as the case of Carolyn Bryant, accused Emmett Till of touching her when all he did was whistle at her. He was bludgeoned with a fucking car engine. It was attached with a rope on his neck, and he was thrown into a river and drowned to death. The case of, I forgot what the fuck the man's name was. It was a woman and a black man that actually were strung up. There's another case that happened somewhere, I want to say in either Mississippi or Tennessee, where the black man had 270 acres of land. White people were jealous as hell and wanted it, so they shot the black man, hung him from a tree, and his family fled, thereby leaving the land vacant. White people took and seized it. What other? They had picnics. They called it a pick-a-nigga, where they would actually have church functions, and afterwards they would pass out flyers to where they were going to hang black men. There were several cases in America. Off the top of my head, I can't remember because there's so many fucking cases where black people were actually brought out of jails wrongly accused of shit, namely maybe touching, raping, or sexual assaulting a white woman, which never actually happened, and they were strung from trees. There was a case, I forgot exactly what the man's name was, but he was hung from a tree. His genitalia was cut off, his fingers were manually clipped, like they cut the man's fingers off. They let him bleed to death. They burned him to death on like an open pit. And then after the body was fricasseed and cooled down, they chopped pieces of him off and they sold them as souvenirs. Whoever made this video, still Devon Tracy, I don't know if that's the person that's black that's posting this bullshit or exposing it, or if it's a white man that actually posted this bullshit. trying to defend it, but most lynchings, and I would actually say 99% of them, was done to innocent black people. No, the black people didn't do heinous shit. They were accused of doing heinous shit. There's a distinction between the two. White people like to actually give themselves middle ground, where they say that, well, there was a middle part of the story that was left out. Well, I'm sure it probably was documented. But lynchings that were done without provocation are actually well documented. So I'm going to go with the overwhelming majority that most black people were lynched without provocation. This bullshit theory that, well, they must have done something, and white people didn't just kill people just because it was the thing to do. No, they were bloodlusty. They were racist. They were hateful people. They saw black people as subhuman, so much so that they made a movie in the early 1900s called A Birth of a Nation, where if the black man was freed from slavery, he would go around RAing white women. That's literally a movie that was, one of the presidents actually watched that shit. I forgot who the hell the sitting president was, but yeah, that was actually propaganda that was propagated by white people. And while none of this shit was founded, it was all unfounded. They just made shit up. They thought because the black man was maybe dark skinned and intimidating, and maybe they did have big ass dicks. I don't know. I'm not into, dick surmising, but they thought that the black man would go around deflowering their beautiful white women, and so they did a bunch of heinous shit to them, namely hanging them from trees. That's not all. They tarred and feathered people, which is actually a form of lynching. You don't actually have to be strung up from a tree to be lynched. Malcolm X's father actually was tarred and feathered and left on a streetcar rail track and was ran the fuck over. He didn't do shit. He didn't RA a white woman. He didn't SA a white woman. None of the above. He literally was targeted because he was black. They didn't like him. He was a businessman, and they were jealous, hateful people, and they murdered him. This is literally the consensus back in the 18 and 1900s. They had Jim Crow laws where they would just target black people and lynch them. Most of it comes from the fact that they were not able to enslave them no more, and I think there was hatred because of that, because broke ass white people couldn't make means on their own, and they saw niggas just walking around and they viewed them as property that could have made them money, but now they can't because the laws have been changed, and it's all fucked up. So they did hateful shit like lynch them. The overwhelming majority. Show me some cases where black men was just out RAing white women and slaughtering white people without provocation and then getting hung. You can't find them because they don't exist, right? Motherfuckers every now and again come back with this reworking of American history. They don't like to see their forefathers pegged in a negative light, so they like to come up with these bullshit alternative theories that can be disproven if you have half of a brain, you got Google, and you're willing to invest a little bit of time in reading fucking articles and books that entail that wasn't the case. In any event, if y'all like this episode, if you didn't, I don't give a fuck. Leave it in the comments and I'm out.
No.